Alright, we're back in the shop. I think today is Tuesday, and just got the engine set in, and this is a 6-liter. It's been bored 20 over, 823 heads on it, the correct springs, and then they picked out a blower cam for it. I pinned the crank, got the balancer on, got the whatever kind of pan that is, we talked about for this one, because everyone was claiming that the stock Trailblazer pan with the hole in it for the axles to go through was problematic with windage and oil slosh and whatnot. So when I was selling some parts, Trailblazer parts, a gentleman had this pan, so I got it from him, and then it has a little bracket down here that bolts up from the pan, and then the bracket for the AC compressor go into that, so it's a kit. So speaking of kits, trying to lay all this out, and I put it on there and made sure that the pulley's lined up before I pinned this dampener to it, and it did. I did go back and look at Boost District to try to find any kind of instructions, and they did say that you could email them and get instructions, so they sent me a PDF, and I guess it is just that intuitive to be able to figure it out. So anyway, it really didn't help anything other than the torque sequences and how many inch-pounds to tighten stuff and what have you. So I just want to make sure that the bracket we have over here, this one is different from the one they have, and it is their bracket. So I assume this goes on there somehow, and then the alternator and power steering go on there. But anyway, I'll figure that out. I guess, like I say, it must be that intuitive that they don't need instructions, but I would like to know where all these spacers, and it'd be nice to know the belt routing and that sort of thing. But anyway, I'll figure it out. So this is a transmission we got from Doug. Doug's a good guy. He's very, very helpful, very useful, very knowledgeable. He has a channel on there, and he built this transmission for us. I think it's been about a year ago. But anyway, there's his contact info. Like I say, he's a real nice guy. He ships transmissions all over, and he'll take care of you and get the tune set up, and he's been very helpful when I've had questions and stuff. So he's very knowledgeable on these, and he did the rollerize stuff, and has a build sheet on the ones he does and everything. So I was happy to be able to work with him on this and be able to use one of his transmissions in something. I'd like to be able to use one of his for my own in the future, if that's possible. But anyway, I just cut these tabs off of both sides, because typically, you don't find out that you need to cut them off till you get them up in there. It looks like somebody had already cut this one off, but these things are so problematic and so aggravating. They hang out this far and hit everything, especially when you got headers and stuff. So more times than not, it's just I end up having to cut them off. So before I put it in the truck, try to put it in the truck and then have to pull it back out and deal with it again, I just went ahead and cut them off. Now these fittings, I think these are from ICT. You have to make sure this back one has a little tail on it that goes in, because I think this one is lubed from the back forwards, and then the old style ones where the fittings are up here lubed front to back, I think. But anyway, if you have the ones with the spread fittings, make sure that this back fitting has the little tail on it, or you will burn up your transmission. I've never done it, but the first one I did years ago, when I pulled this fitting out to put AN fittings in it, I noticed that it had the little tail, and you know, I'm smart enough to know that whatever I pulled out, you know, you pull one out with a tail and you put one without one, it's probably not going to work right. So back then there was only like one place I think that made these fittings. Now there's quite a few people that make them, and like I say, I think these are ICT billet fittings. So that's that. I'm really excited about using this piece again. Thank Doug for putting it together for us and shipping it. And so I was talking to Michael, you know, on the blower setups, the big thing is having a large throttle blade, because this is a restriction, because in this application it's trying to suck air through here to be able to compress it and force it in the engine, whereas in a turbo application you're compressing outside air that comes into the inlet of the turbo and you're forcing it through the throttle body. So the throttle body isn't really, I mean, yes, restrictions are restrictions, but on a turbo setup this isn't as critical as on these setups. So the factory throttle body, I don't know how big it is, but it's not the same, the diameter of the hole. Now this one is actually a little larger than the opening, so you can see down in there that this is bigger than the hole. So I might mark it, because this is just set up on there to try to, I'm trying to see how everything goes and how it's going to work out. So I may pull this back off, mark it, and then, you know, kind of radius it or open it so we can get the full 102 millimeters of air coming into it to help this thing out. The wiring is a nightmare. I did this a couple of years ago, I guess. I don't know how long ago it was, but anyway, trying to remember how I did it and all that stuff. So I've got it all kind of opened up, and now with the blower, you know, everything's in a different position. So I'm just kind of basically just, I hate how Holley terminates their harnesses. They're just, you know, the wire comes up and all of these just poke out of the same thing. I don't know. I can't stand Holley's harnesses. And then the knock sensors and all were barely reaching and stuff like that. So what I'm going to do is, like I say, I'm just going to open up the harness probably back to here and just lay out everything where I want it, get the coil packs on, get every connection where it needs to be, get it plugged in, and try to reroute everything to clean it up, because this just is a disaster. And like I say, I've slept since then. I don't remember how I did it. So and I think he's wanting to go with like a Holley dash or something, which would be more beneficial, because I don't think most of those gauges and stuff worked on his dash, the factory dash. But anyway, that's where we're at on that. Got it on the motor mounts. About to try to get it up in the air, get the transmission in, and then again just try to lay everything out how I want it. And really excited about it. Like I say, I've never done an LSA before. Everybody, or you know, I don't know how they do. I don't know. I do have something else coming that hopefully I'll get this week, kind of a surprise. Another surprise. This is mine this time, my surprise. A lot's been going on around here. I've been wide open. Went to North Carolina yesterday with my buddy to help him get a car, and then one day I went and I bought a Fairmont wagon, and I had it sold before I even got home with it. And so that's came and went. I was, you know, there for a brief second. I was going through all the combinations I could put in it and do a Fairmont wagon. It was a 79 or 80 wagon. It very, very good shape. Got a steel on it. So I only paid $200 for it. My good buddy, he found it for me and sent me pictures of it, and I was like sold. I'm on the way. And then anyway, like I say, I already had it sold before I even loaded it on my trailer. And then some other things happened that I'm not at liberty to talk about, but hopefully in coming episodes or videos or whatever these are, I'll be able to disclose that information and see how that's going. I'm excited about that to see how it turns out as well. But I'm real excited about my surprise, because it's something I've wanted for a long time, and hopefully that works out. So I don't want to jinx myself on that, but so far it seems like everything's working that direction on it. So so that means I've got to get this done and this done so I can get to my surprise and work on it. And I might be using the 6.2 back there on that one potentially. So I do have somebody interested in buying it. I don't know how serious they are. You know how that goes. But if they do buy it, I've got another plan up my sleeve that I'm going to do. So either way, it'll be a lot of fun. And I don't know where it's going to go, but like I say, I'm excited about it. But anyway, just want to give an update on this thing. You know, the motor's in. I'm trying to lay everything out, and you know, I want it to go together nice. And be curious to know what people think this will put down. I've never done an LSA before, so I'd be curious to know what people think this thing will put down. You know, I'm thinking maybe 550, 575 or something like that. But, you know, like I say, I've never messed with one, so I don't know. And I'd be curious to see how it drives, because, you know, with the blower, it's going to be instant torque and power, and, you know, it's just going to be instant. So I know that'll add a lot of fun to driving it and everything. Now, the downside to that is that's going to be turning all the time, which is going to suck fuel. So that's always been the reason I've never done a blower. And but speaking of instant, that EcoBoost has really impressed me. I've been driving it, and now everything I drive in after it, I'm just very disappointed, because that EcoBoost has instant. As soon as you don't even have to be 1% on the pedal, and that thing is just going. I'm super happy with it so far. I'm actually looking at trying to get a second generation, like a 17 or 18 EcoBoost, and selling my 11. You know, just kind of got my feet wet with the 11, but like I say, I really like it so far. Now I haven't towed with it. I might use it to go tow my surprise this week, if that happens. But you know, it just has such instant throttle response and everything, and I really like that. That's what I wanted, you know, with the red truck. And the red truck just, after driving the EcoBoost and getting the red truck, I'm like, man, this thing needs some help. So, you know, and it needs more instant on the red truck compared to the EcoBoost. So anyway, that's enough of that. I'm going to get back to work on this thing, and hopefully next time we'll be a lot further along than this.